by the power of Grayskull.
Hello, this is just a quick review for Skull and Bones for the PS5. There's a free trial on the PlayStation Store at the moment. Basically, it's about 6 hours long, I think, or 5.5 hours long, or something like that. And I remember when this game was first announced, and like the hype that was coming with the game, because with it being a Ubisoft game, if anyone ever played Assassin's Creed, did you ever play Black Flag? That was like the perfect pirate game. They had got the ships right, they had got everything about it was right, and I think they've taken that idea and then created their own game out of it. Because on Assassin's Creed you could get off your ship, you could run around and do all your assassin stuff like climbing buildings and all the parkour, but on this they're just heavily focusing on just the naval sea battle side of it. And then you have a little bit where you do go onto shore, but it's simply just to trade and to upgrade your ship and change what you're wearing and stuff. And then you basically sell and, buy stuff on shore, and then you get back on your ship and you do most of your adventuring out on the seas. There's a little thing I was disappointed about, which I'll show you later. I think the footage is a bit later on. It might be coming up, I'm not sure. And then it's, like where you would, like, on Black Flag, you would board the ship, you'd actually swing on a rope and land on the other ship, and you would like fight the people on that ship physically to overtake the ship. Whereas on this, you just pull them in with ropes, it goes into like a little loading sequence, and then you just get the cargo. It's like they don't really let you fight. Again, they've missed out on that. This is the trial. This is just my first impressions of the trial game, like what you get to pick, and they do give you a couple of thousand coins so you can create and customize your character the best you can. You do get some options, and there's quite a few options if you look through. Everything from jewelry to hats, jackets, like trousers, boots. You get your bracelets, like your gauntlets, you get jewelry, rings and stuff. You can have like an eye patch, loads of different hats. But obviously it all costs money, so honestly, the impression I get from this game that it's a total grind fest. When you find out how the game actually works, you can see how much of a grind fest it actually is. Which is disappointing because obviously it's an online game. When you're out on your ship on the open waters, everybody else is like on their ship as well. So you'll see like somebody's PlayStation username and their ship's like a level 5, and they've got like pirate flags, ships, like sails and stuff. So they've been playing a while. So when you first start, you're a bit intimidated because it doesn't really give you any kind of instruction of what to do, apart from a little bit of text that you read, and you've just got to figure out what to do. But it doesn't really hold your hand in the fact where you just let loose to your own devices, and you've sort of got to just figure it out for yourself, which I don't know, I don't really like. This is what I was talking about before, where you can stop off at ports. If you pull in close enough, it says you can dock, so you can then dock, and then you get a shop like this, so you can buy and sell your goods that you've been looting off other ships. And I think once you've docked somewhere, then it becomes like a fast travel place. So you want to try and dock as many places as you can, I suppose. But again, you sell, and you need stuff for your crew to replenish their stamina as well as replenish your boat. And you can obviously trade things that you can eat, and like wool and like timber and steel and stuff as well. So there's lots of things you can trade. There's like a massive economy on that respect. The map's quite big. I don't know if I've got any footage of the maps on this. I can't remember if I put any in or not. But the map is quite big. There's lots to explore. You can buy the stuff, like I said, or you could. Did you see how those little yellow glowing? They look like little firebugs. You can go close to it, and it'll just say loot. So you can like just loot it from the ship. You don't even need to leave the ship, which is a bit disappointing. Like I said, I think they've missed a trick there, where they could have easily had a sequence where you board the other ship with your crew, or in fact you just get off and you could maybe chop some trees down, even if it's just little animation. It would be better than just pressing triangle. I don't know. I think they've like missed out on making the game better. I mean, there. Look, do you see how you can just pick stuff up, and also it's the same as Assassin's Creed where you press X to go forward and you've got three different speeds, and then you press circle to put the anchor down. So if you're wanting to go from say speed 3 to speed 2, you'd tap circle once and it would drop it down a gear, and then you'd press it again, you'd drop it down to gear, and then if you press it again you'll stop still and put the anchor down. So once you get used to the way it works, because sometimes you have to change your speed quite often, because you can turn tighter the slower you go. The faster you go, you can't turn. So when you're getting shot at, or if you're fighting somebody and you're trying to just circle around them as you're fighting them, you need to make sure you go in the right speed in order to be able to turn quite a tight circle. Um, and like I said, look, you just get close to the commodity and you can just harvest it with triangle. And then you can, any ship that you destroy, you can also pick up their cargo. And there's lots of little AI ships that are kicking about on the seas as well. So it's not all just other people. You do have AI ships, and you do see that's another player. Can you see how he's got the pirate flag sails? I think he's on level 5, I think, or 3. I was literally on level 1 or 2 here because I just started. The reason I've got blue sails is because as a trial you get some rewards, and you do like a couple of easy quests at the beginning, a couple of fetch quests, and then you get given like this kind of skin as a reward. But I know it's only because you're playing the trial. They've like give you some advanced stuff straight away just so you can see what it's like. But again, there's weather, there's lightning, there's sea monsters as well, because it's a live map. You can look on the map and it'll say like there's an event, and there's like 4 hours and 23 minutes left, and it's just called Sea Monsters, and it's like a co-op thing. So you enter that, and other people who are playing at the same time, they'll enter it, and you fight the sea monsters together, and you get rewards for that. But this is where you're running around as your character. I didn't get the chance to do any sword fighting or anything yet, because I don't think it's actually on the game. You don't actually get to do any fighting. It's basically just a game of trading stuff and going out and looting it on the seas. As pirate games go, it's okay for a standalone thing. You know what? I would understand if this came out first and then Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out, because in my opinion, Black Flag is better than this for the way it handles and the way it controls on the ship, the seas, the upgrades, the just the way it handles. It's very similar to this because they've used the same game engine and they've used the same style of like controls and stuff, where you hold L2 and you can look and press R2 to fire your cannons. Then see how you press triangle, you can rope them in. On Black Flag, you actually have to haul them in there and you anchor them, and then you swing across with some rope and land and fight them. Whereas on this, you just press triangle and you loot the cargo and the ship destroys. I mean, it takes some of the fun out of being the pirate. All you're doing is shooting ships and then going close to them and picking up the cargo. I don't know. I don't understand why they didn't do that. Another thing that's really annoying is that the sea shanties, like your crew, sing songs all the time, and I couldn't figure out how to turn them off. At least in Black Flag, you can press and hold something, and you've got the option to like toggle them on and off. You can tell the crew to be quiet, or you can tell them to sing. Whereas on this, it's just always. So I just turned the music down in the menu, turned it down to like 30% or something, and you can still hear them singing, but it's nowhere near as loud, and it's not as annoying. But like I said, it doesn't really give you any kind of instruction. It doesn't like make it obvious of where you're supposed to be going and stuff like that. So you need to have a look at the map. You need to check your objectives, check your quests, and then you follow the objectives when you've got the quests. You can just go around doing what I'm doing here and just fighting ships and collecting everything, but your ship can only hold so much cargo, and then you have to go back and you have to sell everything. But if you don't mind grinding games like this, and if you like customizing your ship, and if you like the idea of customizing your pirate, but apart from that, I don't really see the appeal to this. Like I said, if you wanted to play a pirate game, you're best off getting Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because it's this and much, much more. And this side of it is so much better as well. Like, I don't understand how they've regressed and went backwards and made a game worse when they already had made a really good game. They should have just made another Black Flag game, but instead of obviously being able to traverse the buildings like an Assassin's Creed person, you can just be a normal pirate. But they should have just kept that same game, and it would have been better than this, honestly. But the free trials on the PlayStation Store now, and like I said, it's a good 6 hours, so you may as well put it on and have a go and save yourself shitloads of money instead of buying it. But yeah, that's it. See you later.